today we are working Psalm 57. Psalm 57 traditionally is used to overcome the sorrow of the end of a relationship or marriage. It's used to change bad luck to good, and it's also used to overcome any kind of enemy, which so many of the Psalms are about. Today, I like the idea of using Psalm 57 to change bad luck to good. Luck is something that is manufactured in the depths of our consciousness that we experience as form, function, and event outside of us. It's a very powerful thing to work magic on luck in that regard, because since it's true that we make our own luck, but a lot of what our luck is made out of is unconscious, it's wonderful to recondition the deep mind in order that we be lucky. So if there's anything in your life where you always feel like, I'm so unlucky, things aren't working for me, it's just so hard for me, try Psalm 57 as a spell to turn bad luck to good. The way we work psalm magic is very simple, easy, and effective. We take the psalm that we're working and we speak it out loud all the way through once without stopping. We call this an incantation. Once we finish speaking that incantation, we go back through the psalm and we dig for occult meanings behind each verse. Just take it one verse at a time, and we do our best to find and to think and to search for those hidden meanings. We call those seeds of magic. And when we do this digging and the searching and then applying what we find to the situation that we brought to the psalm, not only are we discovering those seeds of magic, but we're planting them deeply in the fertile grounds of our mind, where they take root, they grow, they blossom forth, and they bear fruit after their kind. And that's exactly what you and I are going to do together right now with Psalm 57. Be merciful unto me, O God, be merciful unto me, for my soul trusteth in thee. Yea, in the shadow of thy wings will I make my refuge, until these calamities be overpast. I will cry unto God Most High, unto God that performeth all things for me. He shall send from heaven and save me from the reproach of him that would swallow me up, Selah. God shall send forth his mercy and his truth. My soul is among lions, and I lie even among them that are set on fire, even the sons of men, whose teeth are spears and arrows, and their tongue a sharp sword. Be thou exalted, O God, above the heavens, let thy glory be above all the earth. They have prepared a net for my steps, my soul is bowed down, they have digged a pit before me, into the midst whereof they are fallen themselves, Selah. My heart is fixed, O God, my heart is fixed. I will sing and give praise. Awake up, my glory. Awake, psaltery and harp. I myself will awake early. I will praise thee, O Lord, among the people. I will sing unto thee among the nations. For thy mercy is great unto the heavens, and thy truth unto the clouds. Be thou exalted, O God, above the heavens. Let thy glory be above all the earth. Glory is spoken several times in this psalm, and it's interesting because we had the topic of glory come up in our Discord server. Glory is frequently thought of as being on sphere number 8 of the Tree of Life. Some people see it as being on sphere number 6 of the Tree of Life. Sometimes glory can be a term meaning the Shekinah, and in the one context in which it was brought up on Discord, I saw it as being a symbol of Ariel and the lightning bolt that goes down the tree. So glory means to glow, and it can mean a lot of different things. So we're going to see what we discover as we go through this psalm, but keep your mind open. Try not to think in terms of, oh, this always means that and this always means that. Remember that the psalms are very malleable according to what you bring to them. Think of the psalms more like we think of the tarot cards, and the meanings can change depending on what's going on in our magic. So it starts out with, be merciful unto me, O God, be merciful unto me. Now, mercy is usually thought of as sphere number 4 on the tree of life, which is governed by Jupiter. Jupiter is not only mercy, but it is also abundance. And the sphere number 4 is ruled by Jupiter, which is representative of Zeus, who was the head of Olympus. So there's a lot of different ways that you can look at the idea of mercy. But in the context of this psalm, we think of mercy as being the changing of bad luck to good. Whatever seems to be plaguing us, whatever seems to be happening to us, the transformation of that from what it appears to be into something wonderful. So be merciful unto me, O God, be merciful unto me, for my soul trusteth in thee. Now, we're trusting in God. Our soul, or our deep mind, very frequently in the Psalms, the soul is more of the deep mind rather than the actual soul. In truth, our soul can't suffer. In truth, the soul cannot be harmed. But very frequently in the Psalms, the soul and the heart are used as terms to mean the deep mind. And that's exactly how it's looking here. When the soul or the deep mind, when we get our deep mind to trust in God, God here is Elohim. Elohim is the collective of the host of heaven. It's the force of all life. It's the one source, the one substance, the one reality of all the universe. And nothing can go up against it. It's the only power there is. And since that's true, when we come to psalm magic, we align with that power. It's pre-gender. It's not a male. It's not a female, even though very frequently it's called a he in the Psalms because of the patriarchal culture out of which these things were scribed. It is the one source. And since there's only one, nothing can go up against it. Nothing can thwart it. And when you come to these psalms and you align yourself with that force, your success is assured, because whomever God is for, no one can be against. And God is for you because you are an extension of God. Just like God is the unity here, Elohim is the unity of the entire host of heaven, you're part of that because as a soul, you are an extension of that. So you're part of that unity as well. And when we orient ourselves to the understanding of who God is and what our relationship to God is in a magical context, we get a very different experience than if we consider God as being some sort of deity that needs to be supplicated outside of ourselves. When it says, my soul trusteth in thee, what else would your soul trust? If your soul is but an extension of God, think of a beam of light from a star, that's who your soul is, what else would this soul trust? So you want your deep mind to get behind what your soul already knows. You want your deep mind to understand there is nothing but God. There is nothing but that. All you have is your source. So there's nothing else to trust. Trusting anything else is the basis of all problems. It's the basis of any so-called bad luck in your life. And when we get behind this understanding that I am connected to, I'm an extension of the infinite, that completely rewires everything in your understanding to recognize that success is assured. There's nothing but success for you. And anything that's not success is you misusing your mind to create something that's not really there. Yea, in the shadow of thy wings will I make my refuge until these calamities be overpassed. Even in the interim between when you are casting the spell and when the spell comes to fruition, there's always that lag time in the physical universe. In the New Testament, that was the 3 days, that 3 days between the crucifixion and the resurrection. That's just a symbol of the time that it takes for one reality to transform into another reality. And so during that time, you're saying, I'm going to be under the shadow. I'm going to be under the wings, the shadow of the wings of the infinite to make my refuge. So I don't have to worry about my spell manifesting as being the only time when things are safe. I'm safe right now. Infinite intelligence is going to take care of me now, even before all of this stuff starts to manifest in the way that I want it to. So I'm taken care of right now. I don't have to worry about a thing. No matter what seems to be going on, No matter how bad something is, how bad my luck happens to be, I don't have to worry about it because I have invoked the understanding that the infinite protects me now. The infinite protects me from my own manifestations, my own projections, until the new manifestations come to light as a result of this magic that I'm working. I will cry unto God Most High, unto God that performeth all things for me. Now, in this regard, to cry means to call out, to use your voice. It's a little different than singing in the Psalms. When you're crying in the Psalms, it's a different attitude than when you're singing. When you're singing in the Psalms, it's because you're praising. It's because you already know things are great. When you're crying, you are using your spiritual voice to express that you are in distress of some sort, and that you're using your voice in order to connect to the infinite, which will make it right. Now, your voice in the physical doesn't need to be used, although it's good to use. It's very helpful. We're talking in terms of the vibrations that you are emitting. That's what your voice is. It's the vibrations that you're emitting. So rather than emitting your vibrations onto your circumstance and trying to fix it yourself, which tends to make the problem more complicated, oftentimes it digs you into the problem more deeply, you're using those vibrations now to connect to your understanding of the infinite. So even though things don't look good at the moment, you're using your vibrations to connect to the infinite rather than to try to fix it yourself. And that is going to bring you right to success, because in the interim, like we said before, between the manifestation of your spell, you are protected and everything will be safe for you. He shall send from heaven and save me from the reproach of him that would swallow me up. Selah. What is the infinite send from heaven? Well, in the mythology of the Hebraic people, the messengers from heaven are angels. And when we personify those angels, it can be helpful, but it can also cause us to not get the full benefit of what that means. Sometimes when we say, okay, now I'm calling on Raphael, and Raphael, it looks like this, and Raphael acts like this, that can be helpful when we're working angel magic. But it can also be a detriment when we think that that's the totality of what that energy of Raphael, let's just say, is. When we understand that we don't understand Raphael, we don't understand these angels. If we understood them, we wouldn't need them, right? We don't fully understand what this messenger means to us. So we're willing to let the messenger teach us rather than us telling the messenger what it is. So when it says, he shall send from heaven and save me from the reproach of him that would swallow me up, that's your bad luck. That's whatever the situation is. So I don't need to tell the messenger, look, this is who you are, this is what you're going to do, and this is how you're going to do it. Because if we already knew how to do all that, it wouldn't be a problem for us. We wouldn't have this problem. So we're going to just suspend that for now in this operation, and we're going to say, I don't know what you're sending me. I don't know who this is, and I don't know how they're going to fix it. And that's the point. You do, and I'm totally trusting in you, completely 100% trusting in you. And I don't need to be involved in this part of it. I just need to receive it. God shall send forth his mercy and his truth. Mercy and truth both again sit on sphere number 4. So if there was an angel, it would probably be more along the lines of Sakiel here. But again, we don't need to name it right now. We need to just receive the mercy and the truth. The truth is that this problem's already been solved. The mercy is you understanding that this problem has already been solved. You being taken out of your own mental conjurations that are causing the problem in the first place. We don't want to look at things like that, though. We want to say, no, I'm just a victim. I'm just a victim. But that's another conjuration. We're saying, I'm just going to suspend that. My soul trusteth in thee, O God. that is merciful. So the merciful God we are trusting in, and we're not going to trust that we know how to get out of this or change this or do anything. We're just going to let it be done for us. My soul is among lions, and I lie, even among them that are set on fire, even the sons of men, whose teeth are spears and arrows, and their tongues a sharp sword. This is spelling out our bad luck. My soul is among lions. I don't feel safe in my own world. I don't feel safe in my own life. I lie even among them that are set on fire. My house is on fire. My bed is on fire. I can't feel comfortable or safe wherever I am. Even the sons of men, whose teeth are spears and arrows, and their tongue is sharp as swords. I can't trust my friends. I can't trust my family. I can't trust people because I think that they love me and then they do things to me to betray me. So I'm at a loss here. I don't trust my life. I don't trust that I'm safe. But our shtick has been up till this point, I'm going to fix it. I know what to do. And in this psalm, we're saying, stop fixing it. I'm going to stop fixing this. I'm going to stop thinking I know what anything means. And I'm going to turn my trust completely to the God of mercy and truth. Be thou exalted, O God, above the heavens, for thy glory be above all the earth. Now, Shekinah is oftentimes called glory. And that glory in regards to Shekinah is the divine substance. You can think of substance as being like fairy dust. It's the shimmering proto-matter that starts to vibrate before something manifests. It's the energy behind all manifestations. It's the unmanifest version of whatever it is that's going to be manifest for us. And in this case, good luck. Our luck, things are changing for us. When we're saying to be exalted, O God, above the heavens, that means in our minds, we are putting God first, the most important thing. And again, that's not something separate from us. We're recognizing we're a beam of light from this. So of course it's the most important thing. If there's one star and you're a beam of light from that star, what else could be important since that's the source of your existence? And that's eternal. And when you understand that, and then of course you want to give exaltation to that force, to that source, nothing else. And that's a smart thing to do because that way your mind is being used for you rather than against you. So let thy glory be above all the earth. That is, let the shimmering Shekinah start to do her magic on the situation so that I can see the manifestations of the good that I seek and that are my birthright rather than whatever it is that I've been manifesting for myself. They have prepared a net for my steps. My soul is bowed down. They have digged a pit before me, in the midst whereof they are fallen themselves. Selah. This is the business of the ego. The ego is a nothing. That's the pit. The ego lives in nothingness. The ego is nothing more than a habit of thought. We've said before, it's like the Wizard of Oz behind the curtain. It's the nothingness. It's white noise. It's a conjuration of our mind. And when we realize that, we understand that the idea of the ego is something that we created to prove that we are separate from that star, that we are separate from our source. And when we bought that false idea that we're separate and that we're alone, we attached ourselves to a thought system based on self-destruction. And that thought system works all the time. And until we stop identifying with that thought system, we're going to experience things that are self-destructive in nature. But once we realize that the ego doesn't have power, unless we give it power, that the ego is just a habit, we can change that habit and we can stop. And that's what they've digged a pit before me, in the midst whereof they have fallen themselves. That's what the ego has. The ego is nothing, and it wants you to think you're nothing because it's a bunch of thoughts of self-destruction. Thought loops of self-destruction. We're ready to give that up. When your soul is bowed down, that's the deep mind that really believes that it's at the effect of these things, but it's not. So we're asking infinite intelligence to recalibrate our deep mind, to understand that we aren't subject to the ego. My heart is fixed, O God, my heart is fixed. I will sing and give praise. Now, the heart, again, is your deep mind. The heart is your bottom line belief systems. And now we are saying, okay, I'm going to fix those belief systems on you. If I button that down so that the only thing that I think about is my connection to that star, what my source is, and the fact that my source is pure truth, pure love, and pure mercy, I understand that that source only wants me to be happy, only wants me to shine, only wants the good in my life. Anything that's not those things is not from that source, and it's something that I've conjured myself. So I want to fix my deep mind on that. Awake up, my glory, awake, psaltery and harp. I will awake early. Your psaltery and your harp are the music you make with your hands. What kind of music do you play every day? Are you playing the same song? Nothing ever works for me, and this is a horrible life, and I have such bad luck. Or are you going to wake up your glory? And the glory is that Shekinah. It's that ability to let that fairy dust move through your experience and change things for you. And thus you need to change the song that you're playing. The things that you're going to be doing throughout the day are going to look very different when you are enlivened by the idea that your deep mind is fixed only on the infinite rather than your problems, rather than your bad luck. And when you wake up early, that means the moment that you awaken, you're going to fix that deep mind on the infinite. That's the first thing you're going to think in the morning. Very first thing that you're going to think in the morning. And you're going to remind yourself throughout the day, what song am I playing on my harp? What am I doing? What am I doing? Am I doing things because I know that my luck is great? Or am I doing things to try to fix my life because I'm worried about things? No more fixing. Instead, we're turning our attention to the infinite. We're playing songs of the infinite, and we are recognizing our connection to the infinite. I will praise thee, O Lord, among the people. I will sing unto thee among the nations. Now we're singing and playing. We're playing our harp, we're singing our songs, and those are those vibrations, what we're doing with our voice, both our physical voice and our metaphysical voice, and what we're doing with our hands, playing the harp. We're turning all activity, be it with the voice or with our actions, to praise. We're praising the infinite. Among the people are your thoughts. No matter what I'm thinking. If I'm thinking, oh, it's so scary, you praise. You say, wait a minute, praise. That's the kind of thing that you do when you notice yourself going down the road of the ego. You say, wait a minute, we're here to praise. What's good? Come on, come up with a good thought. I want to hear what's good. And you're very consistent with that. I want to hear what's good. I'm going to catch myself and I'm going to demand that thought tell me what's good. There's something that's good. I want to hear what's good. For thy mercy is great unto the heavens, and thy truth unto the clouds. So the heavens and the clouds are those exalted ideas, those exalted thoughts. Remember, these people always felt like everything that was happening above them is where God was, and everything that's here is where God was not. Think in terms, instead of up in the clouds physically, think in terms of up in the clouds metaphysically. What is the higher part of my mind thinking? I want to reach my mind up into the highest thoughts that I'm capable of thinking, knowing that the infinite will find me where I am. But I have to do my part. Everything in the world has to start with me. Nothing in my life will just happen. It all has to start with me. The mercy is great unto the heavens, and the truth is in the clouds, but that doesn't do me any good if my mind isn't up there, if my mind is down here. So I have to lift up my mind and be as exalted as I'm capable of being, and then the infinite will do the rest. The infinite will do the rest. It doesn't take much. It just takes a little willingness on our part. But without that willingness, the infinite just has to wait. It can't force us. If the infinite forced you to be happy, forced you to have good luck, forced you to think in a certain way, what good would that be? That would be like an army coming into your home and saying, we know what's best for you, and you need to move out of here because we're going to redo your house the way that we know that is going to be better for you. And even if they did, even if all of the angels came in and redid your home and made it look beautiful, it still wouldn't feel right because you didn't ask for it. I didn't ask for you to redo my home. I was fine. It's an attack. It's an attack when you have something done to you without your permission. without your involvement. And the infinite doesn't attack. The angels don't attack. So it has to come from you. You have to make the first move. Be thou exalted, O God above the heavens. Let thy glory be above all the earth. Again with the glory. If you were thinking of the infinite as God and goddess, they're one. It's like a battery or a magnet. The positive and the negative, the male and the female, they're one though. If you try to take a magnet and split it into positive and negative, you get two magnets. You don't get a positive and a negative. So there is no place where the God stops and the goddess starts. And there's no place where the father starts and the mother stops. When you plant a seed, it goes into germination and then it comes up and it grows. In spirit, it's similar, but instead of it growing up out of the earth, it expresses itself as this proto-matter, as this fairy dust, as this glitter, and then it turns into a manifestation. And the way that it turns into manifestation seems very normal in the world, on the earth. And that's why when we do a spell and it comes true, the ego wants to say, oh, well, that would have just happened anyway. That wasn't very interesting. How come there wasn't a puff of smoke? How come it didn't just come out of nowhere? You have to understand that just because it happens mystically doesn't mean that we always experience those manifestations as mystical. It can seem very commonplace and normal when they come about. So you don't want to fool yourself. You want to exalt God above the heavens and let God's glory be above all the earth, meaning that there is real magic going on. Don't be fooled by how normal it looks when it manifests. Don't be fooled. What happens is your ego takes that and says, it's not a big deal. Then you won't look for the magic. You won't look to the infinite. And then you get back into letting the ego project whatever it wants to project. So don't fall into that trap. When things start manifesting, it's exciting. It's wonderful. It's magical. It's mystical. It's miraculous. Acknowledge that. Be clear with yourself about that. No, well, whatever. It would have just happened anyway. You don't know that. When these manifestations happen, because they will, exalt them. Exalt them and recognize what has happened. It's amazing. And look at all the wonderful work you're doing, working this kind of magic for yourself. So you just keep coming back to the same psalm every day until you get a sense that things are working out. You'll get a sense of peace about the situation. You'll get a sense of certainty about the situation. And frequently I become disinterested in it. And usually that means that my deep mind is telling me your spell is cast and you can move on to something else. Thank you so much for spending some time with me. I so appreciate you. Until next time, blessed be.